Enlisted has just released the Rzhev update, and a lot of people are going to be instantly asking, what does it do? What does it give us? And of course, what does it change? And in terms of the future, what does it offer for Enlisted in the future? Of course, I'm going to be talking about all of these aspects in this video. If you haven't liked, subscribe, or joined the Discord, because you really should join the Discord, because this is where we play games on Rzhev, or should I call it the meat grinder, which is exactly what happened historically. I highly suggest that you join the Discord, and I'll see you in the battlefield on the Discord. With that said, let's get on with the Rzhev update. For starters, it adds a few new weapons. These are not limited, but include the M4A3E2, the T20 rifle, the Panzer IV-G, the KV-2, the 8.8cm Flak 37, and of course, the I-185, among many other weapons. That said, in terms of the other aspects of the Rzhev update, some of these weapons are actually really good. For example, the T-20 gives the Americans the ability to fight head-on against the FG-42, whereas the I-185 gives the Soviets the ability to essentially fight in the air, as compared previously in which the Soviets didn't have a fighter that can drop 250kg bombs. Not to mention the fact that the maps are amazing. I personally played on the Rzhev map, and I personally love the maps. It's really good. Highly suggest that you play the Rzhev map. It's really amazing. Highly suggest that you do it. But there are problems, and some of the problems that were previously there have been fixed. One of them is the progression system, with the progression system now currently going from tier 1 to tier 5 without the weapons being in random spots in random tiers. Not to mention the graphics are really good. Enlisted has really upped the graphics, and it shows in their game. That said, that is pretty much where the good stuff ends, and let's go on to what Enlisted, well, needs to fix. Of course, for the first one is another Eastern Front map. Rzhev, like Stalingrad, like Berlin, like Moscow, is practically the fourth map on the Eastern Front. And at this point, it's starting to get a little bit boring. Not that the map is boring, but the fact that it's another Eastern Front map. Not only that, it's extremely similar to Stalingrad and Moscow. As a matter of fact, said map is literally titled Battle Stalingrad / Rzhev. So, go figure. The new tanks premiums such as the KV-2 and the 8.8cm flak gun, both of which are at tier 4, which is not good for their tier. I suggested in my previous video to put it in tier 3, which Enlisted did not, so that's gonna be interesting. That said, there is nothing eventful with this update. For one, no new faction was added, which is essentially what I wanted to happen because Enlisted should be fixing major issues, which they did. But that said, nothing eventful has been added. There's nothing really new. Essentially the rocket artillery barrage is not even really overpowered in my opinion. The weapon that these squads have is actually more overpowered than the rocket barrage, but in terms of fixing problems, Enlisted did that. However, it's not completely fixed. For example, progression system is much better. Everything is going from chronological order from tier 1 to tier 5. Said issue is the fact that Enlisted has these brackets in which you have tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, and tier 5, but some of these weapons are under different brackets, which is a little bit of a pain, especially if Enlisted decides to go on with this tech tree system. I honestly think Enlisted should really flesh out this system, and honestly, if you ask me, it's actually really simple. I just don't understand why Enlisted is not completing and fixing all of this. That said, if you read the official Enlisted webpage, it does say that some of the stuff that they plan to implement, such as the recoil and essentially buffs for gold order soldiers, will be given in the future, which is that meaning their new stuff will come out later. I honestly thought Enlisted was gonna put these new updates in this update, but they didn't, so that's gonna be an issue. Honestly, Enlisted is on the right track. It is fixing, but pretty much like a snail, pun intended, it's going pretty slow, and I hope Enlisted does fix it. And because, honestly, after fixing all these updates, I fully expect Enlisted to go into new factions, new maps, new campaigns / once again, factions, and even, if we're lucky, new eras. So, that's that. Overall, if you haven't liked, subscribe, or joined the Discord, I highly suggest that you do, and I'll see you in the next one.